There it is. He timed it right.
Counting to explode with the left. Oh, and that right, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still.
Welcome to the motherfucking lady. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Our continued coverage of all this past weekend's action in the women's light flyweight division. Defending champion Lourdes Juarez was able to hang on to her WBC title a while longer against raging counterpuncher Jessica Plata, former unified champion who was vying to win her belt back. She ended up vacating her 2 alphabet titles after she became pregnant, subsequently miscarrying, unfortunately, and thus resuming her boxing career in an effort to win her titles back. She was unfortunate on Saturday. In spite of her efforts, she was unable to pry the green and gold title away from Lourdes Juarez. Why? There's a legitimate argument that Jessica won the first half of the fight, at least 4 of the first 5 rounds, and a legitimate argument that Lourdes won 4 out of the last 5. It was a tale of 2 halves, and rounds that were difficult to score. Personally, I felt that the work, the counter-punching from Jessica Plata was a lot more neat and tidy. The punches were cleaner, more eye-catching. But the volume of Lourdes Juarez, in spite of those counters, was noteworthy. That Jessica's punches are getting in, but they're not discouraging Lourdes Juarez from coming forward, from throwing combinations, and that just boils down to toughness. Not just any girl in the light flyweight division would be able to stand up to those hard counters from Jessica. That just boils down to plain old toughness from Lourdes Juarez, who wasn't going to give up that belt without a fight. Comes from a fighting family. Her older sister, Barbie Juarez, the Fighting Juarez sisters. And Lourdes, in spite of Jessica's constant hard counters, was able to handle it and was able to deal. So it's a situation where I actually like the work from Jessica Plata a bit more than what I was seeing from Lourdes, but Lourdes' body language and being so difficult to discourage, I think went a long way with the judges, swaying their opinions, at times showboating in the second half of the fight. Somebody tells me that they scored the fight for Jessica Plata. I could see that, but I could also see why the judges gave it to Lourdes, who was a busy bee. Very busy in the rounds, very busy in the fight. Ultimately, I think she did enough. I think she did enough to keep her WBC title. I won't protest this decision. Lourdes is one of only 2 champions in the light flyweight division. The other is unified champion of Argentina, Evelyn Bermudez, who currently holds 3 of the 4 major titles at the weight, and a fight between them would crown an inaugural light flyweight champion, as there's never been one before. Questions that need answers. What happens to Jessica Plata now that she's coming off a loss? MVP signed her. Do they try to convince Lourdes to give her a rematch? Do they forego that and try for Evelyn Bermudez? Go after her 3 alphabet titles? What becomes of Jessica? Really not sure. Do they now go into business with Lourdes Juarez and see about getting her and Evelyn Bermudez fight? Do they decide to do that? Stage the undisputed title fight themselves? Neither Lourdes Juarez or Evelyn Bermudez are with a major promotional outfit, so without that involvement, the fight likely doesn't happen. So does MVP decide to pick it up and add it to one of their shows. Overall, it was an entertaining card from start to finish. MVP has a knack for putting together good, evenly fought contests that are entertaining throughout, and I was entertained by the fight, but it is unfortunate that Jessica didn't get to win her belt back. I wonder what happens now, and where does she go from here?
So obviously, Devin, moved up into the weight division pretty quickly.
Yeah.
How do you when you've been in the ring with like Terrence, Boots, all these guys that are like officially at 54? Um, you tell me, how does he fill into this welterweight division?
I feel like he feeling good. I feel like he's feeling good as far as his body build. He's physically strong. I mean, he's not the biggest puncher, you know what I'm saying, but he gonna fit into the weight good. You know what I'm saying?
What does Devin do in the ring that makes him Devin?
I mean, Devin. So like, I mean, with Devin like so smaller. So I'd be like, what he did a couple things that kind of reminded me of Floyd, sort of say. I'm not calling him Floyd, but he did a couple things like hitting you after like the reset. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really know how to explain it, but I feel like Devin was a great fighter, and for real, he got good jab, and he got great distance.
Oh, so those are just the same things he's always had, his jab and his range control. Range control at 135, at 140. Though he didn't look too hot above 140, I wouldn't call darting from one end of the ring to the other range control, because if you were in control, you wouldn't have to do that. Run around like a chicken with its head cut off. That was Troy Isley, who campaigns as a middleweight and has been helping Devin Haney prepare for the upcoming Brian Gore-Tex fight.
Gore-Tex.
There are varying opinions about the fight, but the feeling is that Devin Haney doesn't have power to bring up to 147. He was not a big puncher at 135, he wasn't a big puncher at 140, and he's definitely not one now at 147. So how can a guy with no power to bring up handle himself at a third weight class? It's not encouraging. So Devin's best bet to win the fight is to try and out-hustle Brian Norman, because he can't hope to out-muscle him. He's got to stick and move, use the jab, beat those feet, stay on his toes, and don't stay in one spot. Whereas Brian Gore-Tex, he's got to put him under pressure. A lot of pressure. Keep the pressure on.
Gore-Tex.
Throw 3 and 4 and 5 punch combinations. You can't look to do a moving target with a single shot. Try for 1 and you'll miss it. Try for 2 and the first one might miss. The second one might get blocked. Try for 3. Try for 4. Try for more, to where even if the first 2 punches don't get in, the last 1 or 2 might, and those are the ones that'll do damage. Those are the ones that will slow him down. For Brian Norman to win this fight, he can't just follow Devin around the ring. No, he can't just stalk him. He has to let his hands go. That's pivotal. Just as pivotal as being able to cut off the ring and corner Devin to close off his exits, he has to let his hands go while he does it. Throw so much at Devin, so often, so fast, he doesn't have time to think. Yeah, Troy Isley basically confirmed what we're all thinking, that Devin still isn't big on power, even at 147. You can't bring up to 147 what you didn't have at 140 and what you didn't have at 135. You can't bring up something to a new weight that you don't have. Doesn't have no fucking power. Fuck! Some people consider this karma. They call Devin Haney a weight bully, on the premise that he had to shed a lot of weight to get down to 135, and he still had to shed a lot of weight to get down to 140, that this is a guy looks like he walks around somewhere in between 160 or 168. It's what some people think. They think Devin's really not good, he's just a weight bully. And what success he's had because he's so much bigger than the other lightweights or the other super lightweights, that he's really just a big bitch who hits like a girl. There's a lot of people I think would like to see Brian Norman do this guy. They would like to see Brian Norman knock him out. That Devin Haney is just a Mayweather wannabe. And he's sick of those kinds of fighters, those fence and fiddle and finesse fighters. It is the brutality that draws an audience to boxing, after all. Let's not kid ourselves. Nobody's staying up at 11, 11:30, 12 o'clock at night for the footwork, or for the feints.
Bitch, please.
It's just canned gay shit, alright? Let's stop being hipsters, and let's be honest. It really is the brutality, more than anything, that draws people to combat sports, and that draws people to boxing, so that a fighter like Devin, and all his efforts to replicate Floyd Mayweather, and try to be this era's Floyd Mayweather, we don't want another Floyd Mayweather.
Fuck told you we want that.
Careful that my rooting interest in Brian Norman doesn't cloud my judgment, but I really would like to see Brian win. I think it would be better for the division and better for the sport if a bruiser has the WBO title than another fence and fiddle fairy.
Fuck out of here.
It's all an effort to emulate Floyd Mayweather, replicate Floyd Mayweather, when who says we need another Mayweather? Who says we want one? I've always found it nauseating how there were those in a boxing space so on Floyd's fucking dick, they've basically deified him. It was nauseating. Watching Adrian Broner swing off of this guy's foreskin. Big bro. Hanging around Floyd like a lost fucking puppy or something. His greatest claim to fame is that he was intended to be the next Floyd Mayweather. Big bro? That big bro shit used to get on my fucking nerves. On what premise is he your big bro? You're not blood related, and we know you never actually had that kind of relationship with Floyd. You were just an admirer, because if you were really close to Floyd, you wouldn't be so down in the dumps and strapped for cash now. Big bro. Adrian Bronor was a great admirer of Floyd Mayweather, like Bill Haney is a great admirer of Floyd Mayweather, constantly quoting him verbatim to the point that he offers up his son as tribute. Ahead of this upcoming fight, Brian Gore-Tex's father, Brian Norman Sr., has been doing the rounds on podcasts, and I want you to pay attention to what he said.
You gotta remember, Bill Haney called Brian Norman to spar with Devin Haney right before this fight was made. Y'all know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody know that, right?
Yep.
All right. So
he
that's
wanted y'all to come to Big Bear, right?
Huh?
He wanted y'all to come on the He wanted y'all to come to Big Bear, correct?
We was already in Big Bear.
Hold up, bro.
Okay.
Repeat that for the people in the back, please.
Bill Haney called Brian Norman Jr. to help him get ready for Ramirez fight and to help him get ready for the next two Ryan Garcia fights. Look it up. Y'all don't believe? Look it up. It ain't been denied. It ain't been refuted. Brian Norman Jr. said, "I'm not a sparring partner. No, I won't help you. And you're a potential opponent. I appreciate you." Bill called me on the phone. Bill called B on the phone. Gave us this whole spiel about the Greenprint. Floyd did it. This is what he said. Floyd already showed us the script. Floyd already gave us the blue. It's the Greenprint. Bill words. If he a man, he'll come on here and tell you he said it, just like me. If he a man like me, he'll come on here and admit he said it. Now, like I just said, Greenprint, he called me, gave the spiel. Look, we ain't gonna fight each other. I promise you we don't want to fight y'all. We ain't gonna never fight y'all, man. We don't never fight no black fighters. He said it. We don't fight black fighters. Ain't no money in that. Go look at his resume, nigga. He told me that. Floyd showed us the way. Floyd showed us the way. The money is in the black and green. That's where the money at. Those are fucking Bill Haney words. The money is in the black and green. It's not in the black and black. Ain't no money in that. We ain't gonna fight each other. We have no desire to fight y'all or whatever else. That's how I knew that nigga was trying to fight us or nothing else.
I believe Brian Norman Sr. and what he's saying because it sounds like something that Bill Haney would say. Bill Haney spends a lot of time quoting old Mayweather-isms.
Shit that Mayweather used to say. It's so fucking unoriginal.
There are enough video clips, sound bites, interviews, excerpts of Bill Haney quoting what are Mayweather-isms, things that Floyd Mayweather used to say. So when Brian Norman Sr. says that it was never actually their intention to face Brian Norman,
well then how did they end up here?
We'll get to that, but when he says that Devin had called up Brian for sparring, you don't call up a guy for sparring that you feel you're gonna one day fight. A guy for sparring that you feel one day you're going to share the ring with. And so if the Haneys contacted the Normans for sparring, must have been because they had no intention of fighting them, but worse.
Bill basically said it. Came out of his own mouth. There's no money in two black fighters fighting each other, according to Bill Haney. Where did he get that notion from? He got it from Floyd!
How many times have you heard me say, here on the channel, that a big part of the reason Floyd Mayweather was so successful in the box office is because he had the good fortune of competing at weights where there were a lot of draws, a lot of guys who had fan bases of their own, like Oscar De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez, Miguel Cotto, Canelo Alvarez, that Floyd Mayweather, by himself, was not actually that big a draw, but it's because of the people he was fighting. Those events were so successful.
Well, I know that's going to sound crazy to a lot of people, but if you need evidence, compare what he did with those guys to what he did with Andre Berto and what was supposed to be Floyd's swan song, his farewell fight. If he was so beloved,
if people liked him that fucking much, why did his pay-per-view numbers nosedive after the Pacquiao fight? At the height of his popularity, coming off of his biggest win in what would be his last professional boxing match. Why didn't more people buy it if they like him so fucking much? It's because they didn't.
And they still don't.
It's the worst kept secret in boxing that Floyd Mayweather by himself was not actually that big a draw. He relied on other fighters that had their own fan bases to make the events successful. And credit to him because they were successful.
Yeah, it actually worked. Now that parasitic mentality has carried over to the Haneys.
When Brian Norman Sr. said that the Haneys don't want to fight black fighters because there's no money in that. Oh, because that doesn't sound like something that Bill Haney would say? That doesn't sound like something that Bill Haney borrowed from Floyd Mayweather?
It's all bullshit anyway.
Bill got that from Floyd, but just because Floyd said it doesn't mean it's not bullshit. It's definitely bullshit. Floyd Mayweather sold 1 million pay-per-view buys with Shane Mosley.
2 black fighters.
This idea that 2 black fighters in America can't sell 1 million or more pay-per-views, oh, that's all bullshit. It always was. That just because Floyd says something, and just because you borrowed it from Floyd, doesn't mean it's true. It's actually bullshit.
Because when Floyd Mayweather fought Shane Mosley, they sold 1 million pay-per-views off of Shane's big win over Antonio Margarito, a dominant win where he beat Margarito from pillar to post. After that, Shane fought Floyd, and they sold 1 million pay-per-views.
Let's go back even further. Before the Mayweather era, whether you're talking about Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis,
These were highly successful box office fights, the biggest fights in boxing that featured 2 black fighters fighting each other. So where did Floyd get that 2 black fighters can't sell if they fight each other?
that was always bullshit. So when that bullshit gets passed along from a Mayweather to a Haney, well, it's still bullshit. It was always bullshit.
And you're just repeating that bullshit because you didn't really want to fight Brian Norman. You didn't really want this. So how did we get here?
How did the Haneys end up with a fight that they really didn't want? Well, the 2 fights they did want, they fell through. Ryan Garcia lost to Rolly Romero, which killed the rematch, and Teofimo walked away afterwards.
Initially, it was supposed to be Ryan, but he lost. Then they moved on to Teofimo, but he bailed.
He didn't want it, so the Haneys, they didn't have much of a choice but to accept whatever was on the table. And all that was on the table was a Brian Norman fight. Don't forget that they're free agents. They are network and promotional free agents. They don't have a match room to schedule a stay busy fight or a maintenance fight to put some money in their pocket. They are at the mercy of Turkey El Al Sheikh and his matchmaking. So whatever fights he wants to make,
Well, that's what you're stuck with. It's either that or don't fight.
don't do nothing. Just sit on the shelf collecting dust and ring rust while your father does the rounds on every available boxing podcast. Go on, don't do shit.
You ask yourself, how did the Haneys end up with a fight that they really didn't want? They didn't have much of a choice, and isn't that what I've been telling you the whole time? 2 fights fell through for the Haneys, and because they're free agents, they don't have someone to schedule them a stay busy fight.
So I question whether or not Devin will make it through this fight, because I don't think he really wants to be here. Based on how he performed with Jose Ramirez, it's hard to say he's confident.
Capable.
This wasn't their first choice. It was a last resort. And at a third weight for a guy who can't crack an egg.
The bell tolls for thee.
Yeah.
Tell me though, are you excited?
I mean, you tell me what you am I how do I look?
I don't know.